What is up, everybody? My name is Advance, and this is Advanced Sports Talk. All right, so last weekend, Francis Ngannou has attended his first PFL event. He was cage-side with Jon Jones. Yeah, Jon Jones was in the building, and the two of them, they met. They had a bit of a conversation, and Francis immediately started the shit talking. And he said, tell your daddy to release you so we can get this done. Oh, man. Basically talking about Dana White. So, look, man. We've been looking for this fight for 3 years. Like Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones fight. It's been whispered and pined for like I said, for 3 years. So yeah, oh man, the fact that it's so much talk over this, even after Jon Jones took his hiatus, came back, Francis Ngannou departed from the UFC, and look, man, it's some all right. So look. The two of them really want to. They do want to fight each other, but they're not in a rush. If that makes any sense, if Jon Jones said that he's not against fighting Francis, but if he must, that fight or the check for that fight has to have a lot of zeros on it, and yeah, it's got to have a number and a lot of zeros behind that. According to Dana White, he said Jon Jones wants Deontay Wilder money, and you know what? And that makes sense because they're talking about the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury rematch, the trilogy fight. And Deontay Wilder got paid $30 million for that. So yeah, I mean, and you know what? I understand why. Because for Jon Jones to fight Francis Ngannou is called the Predator for a reason. I don't know if you've noticed his career, but Francis Ngannou has a method of dealing damage. So, and it's the same. And it's the same with Francis, like Jon Jones aims with an intent to destroy. So yeah, it's so yeah, that is what it is. If the two of them were to fight, neither one of them would be the same afterwards. Neither of them is coming out of it unscathed. So yeah, there's going to be some marks. I think given from a condition standpoint, I think Francis would get it because Jon Jones takes a lot of hits, and you can't afford to take hits against Francis. But because I rewatched all of the last 3 fights that Jon Jones had when he won the title, when he defended it against Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, and then I watched the fight with him and Cyril Gane, and while he got Gane out of there in the second round or in the first round, I can't remember, that fight was so fast I forgot what round it was, but he got Gane out of there early. So because he finished the fight so quick, we haven't seen exactly what it would look like for him to go a full 5 rounds. Now, I don't know what his camp looked like, or I would assume that he would have a more rigorous camp if he's facing Francis Ngannou, because Francis Ngannou is dangerous. But in any case, we're gonna break that down later. But no, I don't know. It was obvious that all of Jon Jones' contract disputes was about the Francis Ngannou fight, because when he after he defeated Dominic Reyes and he announced that he was going to move up to heavyweight, he already made the decision to vacate the light heavyweight title. So because normally, like I said in the Amanda Nunes video, Dana comes up to you and he says, hey, pick which belt you like, because the other one is going bye-bye. So he said, so he had already made the decision, because at that point he had done everything. He had done everything in the light heavyweight division. He dominated it. He beat DC twice. Did they fight twice? I don't know, but he beat DC, and they fought twice, because the second one was ruled a no contest. But I'm gonna break that down. In a second. So we have, so he already made the decision that that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to fight. He wanted to fight Francis. He wanted to move up to heavyweight. But he was intending on fighting Stipe Miocic. Now, Francis threw a wrench. He threw a monkey wrench in that whole plan by winning the heavyweight title from Stipe. So yeah. I already know that. So with that being said, then that's when the contract disputes came out. And he and Jon Jones was it was like this big thing. We was like, oh snap, we're gonna get this fight. And then Jon Jones started getting talked about less and less and less. There was some DC ain't shit for this, but he said I can assure you Jon Jones is not afraid to fight Francis Ngannou. But no, all jokes aside. No, so he takes his hiatus, and Francis just goes on to defend, because I think he was started his contract negotiations not long after he won the title. Then he was injured, so they named Ngannou interim champion after he beat Derek Lewis, which I felt kind of weird about. I thought, because once he won the number one contendership, I thought that it was, I said, he would have, I thought that Ngannou would have been the heavyweight's worst nightmare because of how conditioned and in shape he was. But Francis solved that by out wrestling him. And Francis don't wrestle. Now, we can say, all right, that has to do with Kamaru Usman being in his corner, but still, Francis don't wrestle. He won that fight by unanimous decision on an injured knee. But in any case, after that, it was once again he was off for another year with contract disputes. And actually coming into that Ngannou fight, he was disputed with Dana, and he decided to bet on himself. And he said, all right, well, I'll see how this fight goes. And then, because chances are, how it went, if Francis beat Ngannou, then he gets to write his own ticket. He gets to negotiate his own salary. And as it turns out, Francis beat Ngannou. And once he beat him, him and Dana still couldn't come to an agreement. Now, this is where the waters get hairy, this is where the waters get murky, because Dana White said that they offered Francis a deal that would have made him the highest paid heavyweight, and Francis said no. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if Francis had other ventures on his mind that he wanted to explore outside of the UFC or not. But if that was the case, why the dispute? I think he would have just went ahead and just left UFC. It could be possible that he was already in talks with the PFL, and it's crazy because they got Jake Paul. So Jake Paul is they're working with Jake Paul now. Jake Paul got Tyron Woodley's. According to Tyron Woodley, he said that was his biggest. Those 2 boxing matches that he did was his biggest payday of the year. No, his biggest payday ever of his entire career. So I don't know, but the money had to have been right for Francis to. For Francis to go over there. So, yeah. But, in any case, after Francis departs from the UFC, here comes Jon Jones. Maybe like a month or 2 after, after the news of Francis broke, Jon Jones' return was announced. And they already set him and Ngannou up to fight for the vacant championship, for the vacant heavyweight championship, which Jon Jones beat Ngannou, obviously. So this was 2 championship fights that Ngannou lost back to back. And then the same night that he beat Ngannou, guess who's in the arena? Stipe Miocic. And he came in the ring, they talked, and they already got the fight sanctioned. They got the fight sanctioned within an hour. They had the fight scheduled within an hour of him winning the title. So that right there lets me know that I think that was the fight that Jon Jones wanted to have, wanted all along. Once again, not saying that he won't fight Francis, but if it's me, if I'm signing up to get punched in the face by Francis Ngannou, I'm going to need a lot of zeros my damn self. So, yeah, I got you. I want to make sure my family's taken care of. So, yeah, I believe me, I understand it. Now, Jon Jones, for everybody that saw my video, the one that I made in response to the Francis Ngannou video, everybody kept coming on in my comment section talking about Jon Jones. Jon Jones. Yes, I know. Jon Jones is the GOAT. He's undefeated by my standards. And by undefeated, yes, I know he has losses on his record, or he has 1 loss and 1 no contest. But in terms of people physically asserting their will over top of him and dominating him and beating him, he's undefeated. He's undefeated. Yeah, he has a DQ and a no contest. Francis Ngannou has 2 losses on his record as well. But look at the run that he went on since then. He lost to Stipe the first time. Then he lost to Derek Lewis. He went on a 5-fight win streak, avenged the loss against Stipe, and he outclassed the guy that outclassed Derek Lewis. And Derek Lewis faded off into obscurity. It's sad because I like Derek Lewis. My balls is hot. But in any case, the fact of the matter is that, yeah, a fight between these 2 needs to happen, whether it's in a boxing ring, whether it's in a PFL, and UFC, or whatever. And that was another thing that I didn't like about this whole situation. Like Dana said that, all right, said Jon Jones wanted Deontay Wilder money, which again I understand. He slandered Francis Ngannou for wanting to entertain a fight between him and Tyson Fury in a boxing match, which makes sense because Francis started off as a boxer and he just got the right person's eye that said, hey, you're really good, why don't you try to do this instead? So yeah, so he did that. Dana said, all right, you gotta, he was like, yeah, he basically called, he said if those 2 were to fight, it would be nothing more than a gimmick fight. As in, like, hey, let's take this UFC fighter and put him in the ring with a boxer. Where have we seen that before? Well, Conor McGregor and and Floyd. Yeah, so, but then turned right around and said if the people want to see a fight with Jon Jones and Tyson Fury, he'll make it happen. I thought you don't like gimmick fights. That would have been a gimmick fight. It's the same guy. Literally the exact same guy. Oh my God. But no, all jokes aside, no, a fight between these two would be big, and it would definitely draw the numbers that would warrant the paycheck that Jon Jones is asking for. And yeah, like, because everybody's gonna tune in to see this fight, so I don't know, man. It is what it is. But yeah, these two guys are big stars. Jon Jones is undefeated. Nobody has dominated him. Nobody has dominated him in a victory. Francis Ngannou has 2 losses on his record in UFC. There's a third loss he had earlier. Technically his first loss earlier in his career, but you wouldn't know him. So, yeah. In the UFC, 2 losses. And then he went on a 6-fight win streak. 5 of those by knockout, winning the heavyweight title. And then the 6th one, he outclassed the guy who outclassed the guy that beat him. So, yeah, I think, we need to make this happen. But in any case, those are just my thoughts. What do you think? Put your comments in the comment section down below. How do you feel about Francis Ngannou versus Jon Jones? How do you feel about the circumstances and the scenarios that led up to this very awkward event of Francis winning the title, Jon Jones leaving, Francis leaving the UFC, Jon Jones coming back, winning the title, and then fighting Stipe, the guy that he initially challenged to begin with? How do you feel about that? Put your comments in the comment section down below. We're going to chop it up. My name's Advance. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe on everything. I'm out.